Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. For today I've got some exciting news. I noticed after I flew on my previous video that I actually captured one of the very first, if not the first, Cybercab in the crash testing facility here at Giga Texas. And here's a clip of that flight video. And I'll pause it here and just give you some information. They have been doing crash testing of Cybercabs as well as doing engineering analysis of the front and rear castings and the structure of the vehicle out at Fremont. That work seems to be completed, and perhaps that indicates that they have transitioned the final testing here at Giga Texas. This is really great to see because it matches up with all of the equipment that we've been seeing delivered to the site, moved to the factory, and installed, and also some of the other testing that we have seen, like at the wind tunnel of the Cybercab. So I really think that we're getting close, probably within the next few months, of seeing Cybercab production starting up slowly and then ramping into 2026. In addition to that, on my previous video, over on the west side outbound lot near the end-of-line facility, I did notice these two blue and white trailers on the right hand side of the screen. I've kind of circled there. These trailers are marked TÜV SÜD with the umlauts over the U, so it's German, and they're mCREST trailers. So what is that? These are mobile combined road environmental simulation testing, or those mCREST units. This is used for engineering teams to access advanced on-site buzz, squeak, and rattle testing. This is a mobile climate-controlled chamber and four-poster system. It replicates real-world conditions through high-performance servo-electric actuators, and it helps to identify and eliminate squeak, buzz, and rattles within vehicles. I think this is in close proximity to the rumble strips on the test track for a reason. It's the final testing that they do before the cars are sent out for transportation. And the final note is that I wanted to let you know I'm heading down to SpaceX Starship Flight 11, and that's currently scheduled for launch on Monday, the 13th of October at about 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, with about an hour and a half window of opportunity. Now, I'm going to be heading down on Saturday, the 11th of October, and I'm going to be staying through Wednesday of next week. So I'm not going to be having any Giga Texas videos on Monday or Wednesday of next week, but I will be stopping at the Corpus Christi lithium plant to get an update of that video. So I'll be looking for that, and also look for my SpaceX coverage. I will be also trying to do a live stream with Ellie in space this time, and hopefully we'll be able to have that work. So anyway, just an update on my schedule and what to expect for next week. All right, you're updated, so let's get into the drone, fly around, and see what Giga Texas looks like today. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. So what a beautiful and amazing sunrise today over the factory. I saw that developing. I thought I would definitely try to capture that to share it with you. Also, because I'm here so early and the sun hasn't quite arrived yet over the horizon, I thought I would take this opportunity to show you some views inside kind of this middle part of the main factory, where the window line is a lot taller on that third and fourth floor over the west main entrance. So I'm going to kind of position the drone around to bring us down lower, come in and take a look inside the windows here, where there is a lot of change and a lot of equipment that has been installed in the last few months. So as we get in here closer, I'll zoom in and give you some of the views of what is going on. Specifically, we're looking at the top floor with the rising window line. Just a lot of equipment on the window line below that. But this top line has had that mezzanine added on, as you can tell. They also have some partial mezzanines with other equipment that has been installed in and around this location. And here's a great shot of all of the kind of stations with robotic assemblers, and it just looks like each of these stations have some sort of a platform, one of those yellow robots, some monitors, and it looks like it's being set up to produce a lot of individual smaller pieces than what we normally see within the automobile factory. So that kind of brings to mind, what exactly could this equipment be used for? What product might it be used for? Now, it could be to support parts of the Cybercab and part of that unboxing process, and they're utilizing a lot of this space for that. Or it could be maybe for a smaller product, maybe even Optimus, because we do know for a fact that they are going to be building Optimus and doing that production here at Giga Texas. Take this opportunity to pull away just to show you this beautiful view of the west main entrance, all lit up with the white and red lighting, and that turns off right at sunrise, so we got a great chance to see that before they turn off and change to just white. But coming back up here, I'm just trying to give you as close a view in here as possible. The main thing is just look at all of the small individual stations, each one with a robotic assembler all throughout this entire area. This is a great view in the middle of the screen where you have that 3.5 floor mezzanine, and you know, the way that all of the equipment is assembled around it. We also see, it looks like white scaffolding. It's more like a structure that's permanent, rather than just temporary scaffolding. And here's another section of more of those kind of workspaces being assembled in the right-hand side of the screen. As we pass this staircase, we are now moving into the structural pack portion of the factory, and this has also grown considerably with equipment and just adding in a lot more of the capability. Now, we do see some of this plastic fencing here in the middle where they're doing some additional work. In the middle of this entire section, they're assembling and adding in a lot more equipment as well. So I'm going to pull away now, get another view of that sunrise, and kind of end the views inside this part of the factory today. And I also want to take advantage of this opportunity, go back over the highway and take a look at some big activity in the outbound lot. I'm going to zoom in here, show you the semi-truck, some of the other Model Y stored in the north part of the outbound lot, of course, where the direct delivery event takes place with that area with the Tesla emblem. But what I really want to show you is the number of Cybertrucks that are being produced and prepared for the final inspections and shipping. Here's a few on these lanes. I'll bring the drone down lower and kind of give you a view at this altitude. Some of them are actually the long-range rear-wheel drive. We're going to see a lot more of them in a few moments. We'll see others lined up along this side, many in the superchargers, some of which are getting what looks to be software updates with all of the lights flashing right now, and then this large grouping on the left-hand side of the screen. We also see more in the top center of the screen as well. And one of the things that I think may be happening is that the Cybertruck has been offered in several Middle Eastern countries now. So they're expanding the number of countries that are able to order them. And over in those markets, they may be allowing the long-range rear-wheel drive as an option also. And that may explain why we're seeing so many of them here, but they do not show up on the US order website anymore. But what is definitely clear is that they are grouping these a lot here in this area, so much so that we're getting overflow of Model Ys at the bottom of the screen. And they're, getting all of these ready for shipping. I did notice later in the day that a bunch of those Cybertrucks were lined up along the east side of End-of-Line for processing and then movement over to the left-hand side of the screen, the outbound lot. So it looks like they are going to be working on that over the weekend to get those prepared. So we'll have to see after I get back from Starbase if that's the case. Now here's a great view zoomed in of those TÜV SÜD mCREST trailers that we talked about in the intro of the video. This time I get you a little bit better view and close-up looks of what is going on. You can see the ramps on the right, so vehicles can go in for testing. And also those kind of yellow dots in the test track next to it, those are those rumble strips. So I think that it's kind of related. So if they do some testing on certain vehicles, they may move them into that trailer for that kind of noise, vibration, harshness testing that those trailers are meant for. As we continue to fly up towards the north, just showing you that the vehicles just directly below the drone here are most likely getting prepared for direct customer deliveries. That program is continuing. It wasn't just for the end of the third quarter. It's something that you can expect all the time now. I'm going to continue to maneuver the drone here on this part of the outbound lot. You see some of the non-Tesla cars. Those are either employee vehicles or in some cases they were trade-ins from customers for that direct delivery. But this is a great overall shot of that entire outbound lot and what it looks like here early in the morning on this Friday. Now I'm going to continue to fly along this sort of western boundary of the West Support facility and show you what is going on with the material staging yards today. There are some definite developments that I want to show you, and it just indicates just how much work is being done inside the factory as well. So we'll start here next to these transformers and the cable spools. Those transformers here haven't really changed a whole lot. We can see where the workshops here at the bottom of the screen, but what is changing is coming up in the middle of the screen. We'll get in closer, is where they've been assembling some of the V4 superchargers. There were groupings of 4 of these. Each one had 4 of the posts for the superchargers. And of course the cabinet is on that as well. Now we see 1 remaining in the center of the screen. We see all of this equipment kind of on these concrete slabs to keep them out of the mud. And the other ones appear to have left the site. So they may be using it for superchargers around Austin or the nearby area. As I zoom in here, another big change. You can even see that yard truck on the top of the screen. A lot of this equipment is being moved over to the factory and installed. Much of this is in that kind of the battery cell and structural pack part of the factory that we saw the views inside. So that big center area, I said that they were continuing to assemble this equipment. Some of that may be where we just saw here, waiting for the chance to be moved into the factory. As we go over the power lines, we can see this staging yard with all of the steel, but there's a couple of developments that I want to show you over here on this part of the site. First, look at the downtown all lit up by that early sun. It's just pretty amazing. Here we also see excavation work underway on this extreme west side, and they are kind of making a large trench. So not sure what that is, but I'll have to come back after I get back from Starbase and try to get a much better or a longer duration view of that. This is the contractor parking lot. All of these contractors are waiting for the shuttle buses to pick them up and take them over to work. They use this site to kind of keep all of the contractor vehicles off of the main part of Giga Texas so that there's extra space for employees and people that are actually working in the factory itself. On this part of the staging yard, almost the only materials remaining are these green wrapped items and the ones that have the green wrapped items on the crates. almost everything else has now been cleared out. And this is really important because much of the equipment that has been stored on this side of the site and in this material staging yard has been for Cybercab production lines. And you can tell that this area has been cleaned out a lot, especially if you go back a couple of weeks. And one of my videos, I showed you just how many sets of equipment and the wooden crates that were all just stockpiled here. It does look like we are getting a few more deliveries of some of these crates here today, and much of this is going to the east side of stamping, and I'll be showing you that momentarily. So I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We're going to fly over towards the South Bridge, cross over, and take a look at what's going on the other side of the highway. The work with the water lines, the trenching, the trench boxes, and more are continuing here on the south side of River Road. Nice view straight down into that trench box. You get a good sense of how deep it actually is. Here's another set of them, and this is continuing all along this side of River Road. You can also see that yard truck delivering equipment, and we were kind of keeping pace of that with the drone. And that's all headed over to the factory for movement inside. And here's a nice view overall of the factory with that end of line and the downtown, the upper left-hand side of the screen. As I pivot the drone back down, I wanted to show you some more of this excavation work that's now on the north side of River Road. You can actually see in the trench boxes some of those green pipes that are kind of put on the ground. And as I bring the drone down a little bit lower, you can see what it looks like from this altitude. This work is all related to that other trenching work and pipes that go along the south side of River Road and along the west side of the berm. Now, while I was here, I noticed all of this equipment. We'll zoom in and I'll show you what it appears like. This is that equipment that we saw on the southwest staging yard and some of those trucks that were delivering more of it. And this is what the markings look like. And you can see some of the TSL and then the numbers for each of the crates. I think this is automation equipment, but it's hard to tell for sure. It's in the stamping press section, so that gives us a little bit of a clue perhaps of what that is for. Through the windows, it's kind of hard to see with just this lighting, but there is this new section of columns, kind of a mezzanine being added, and a whole new office space that's enclosed has been added as well. And the south end of the factory, the cyber pond, and those tunnel system. So I'm going to bring the drone back up to a higher altitude. We'll clear the power lines, and I want to take a look at what other activities are going on here on this side of the site. And as we pull away, you'll notice that not all of the fans are working on the chiller plant or the cooling plant right now for Cortex 1. Not sure if that really indicates anything at all, but I know that they've been doing a lot of work with V14.1 with some of the inputs coming in to get that retrained. While I'm here, I'll zoom in and show you more of those deliveries here on the east side of stamping. And you can tell this large truck is delivering in more of these items. They're getting ready to be picked up. Since they're going to be using like a forklift, it does not look like it's super, super heavy, but we also see some white wrapped items on those pallets as well. And many of those look like robotic assemblers. Now, this equipment here, I'm not sure exactly what it is. You can tell it's all throughout this area. They look like they're some sort of platforms or maybe work tables kind of with railings, but it's all white and red, which indicates it is production equipment of some kind. This is where the stamping scraps are put into bins and moved over to the recycling yard. Of course, here's a view through one of the temporary platforms, more of the equipment on the ground, and a few trailers delivering more equipment here today. A large group of Tesla employees coming out of that shuttle bus heading in for work right now. And this is all right at the beginning of the shift. for today. As we continue to fly to the north, we'll get to this secondary main entrance, that construction entrance behind the tower, and also that temporary platform. Some equipment on the ground has been there for a little while. We've seen a lot of equipment brought in and moved up to that floor. And throughout this entire section where those temporary platforms are is where the Cybercab production lines are being finished up. As I pull away, this is a nice look at this staging yard with a lot of the corrugated pipes, some of the manifolds and other pipe segments, plus other equipment, and a view back towards where Robotic Avenue and River Road intersection is being constructed on that left-hand side. Now, in the staging yard, there was also a lot of wooden crates that were located kind of on that far side near where that bus is coming on that road. All of that seems to have been unpacked and moved inside as well. Of course, more of the pipe segments here. A lot of that is for additional work that's going on in the south extension of the factory. Now pull away over towards the recycling area. At the center of the screen on the ground, there is a body in white. It's a old Model Y. It was a display Model Y for the longest time, and it's now just over here to be recycled. In addition to that, we see how the recycling operations is working here. Items are delivered to these workshops. They are unpacked, sorted, prepared, and then once they are in the right order, they are sent off for further recycling. We also see kind of a water and ice device on the bottom of the screen with some of the crates that are used around the site for the workers. Here's where recycling is underway coming in. It looks like it might be a weight or a scale, and they might be doing that so that they can have the right information when they take them off for the recycling. These open top trailers that we just passed over are where scraps of stamping are remaining or are held until they're ready for recycling. And of course, the East Warehouse on Wheels, where they keep a lot of the items for production until they are needed. And that's part of that warehouse on wheels concept that is employed here at Giga Texas. Now, as we get closer to the crash testing facility, we have some exciting views here that I want to share with you. In the intro, we talked about my previous video where I captured a Cybercab having some work being done on the north end. Unfortunately, my video at that time was not of the highest quality because I didn't really realize that it was here. So today, I'm going to give you much better, higher resolution views, and we get a little bit of a clue of what is going on. As we come around to the north side, you can tell that that Cybercab is up on the two-post lift, and there are employees that are doing some work underneath it and some around the sides and maybe the interior. They might be doing some sensor installation in preparation for crash testing, or they may be doing some engineering analysis, but this is about the best view that I can possibly give you of what is going on with this particular Cybercab. Now, I believe, based on the wheels, that this is the same one that we saw several weeks ago at the wind tunnel and having some of the testing done. The rear bumper under skirt is a little bit different. The front fender cameras have been relocated slightly. And this one, because it's I believe a engineering test item, it had a temporary steering wheel inside as well. But as I pull away, this gives you kind of an overall view of what's going on. The center area of the crash testing facility where they would pull the vehicle for crash testing was all the way open, so it is possible that that's what they're getting ready for. It's really hard to tell at this point, but the fact that it's in the crash testing facility, I think, is significant. And not only is it because of crash testing, but it also gives us a kind of an insight into how close to production they really are. And I would say that they're still about a month or two away if we use the Cybertruck example and assume that it's very similar. But we'll have to watch over time and find out if that is in fact a good assumption or not. So I'm going to bring the drone up above the roofline of the battery cathode plant and look across towards Cortex 2 and a lot of the dirt area that is now opening up in the middle, especially now that they've been using a lot of that dirt on the inside preparing for the slab. And we will see that the ground slab is making a lot of progress inside the building. So while I'm here, I'm going to drop the drone down into the alleyway between the die shop on the left and the battery cathode plant on the right, just to show you what's going on with the chiller plant here. There is a Matheson truck. It is providing a replenishment of the liquid oxygen, which is in these large tanks. And you can see some of the vapors around and near the vertical vaporizers, and some of them are quite frosty right in the middle of the group of tanks. So definitely a lot of activity going on with these cryogenics and what they're using for the processes inside the battery cathode plant. And as I kind of pull away more, it's just a great view of that alleyway, the road at the bottom of the screen, which eventually will be Tesla Road extension, and I'm kind of waiting for that to happen, but this is what's going on here at this part of the site. See a lot of the concrete vaults here at the bottom of the screen. Many of them are being used for some of the conduit that is extending from the switchyard over to Cortex 2, and I will show you more of that here in a moment. The open door on the left is getting more formwork to finish up the perimeter grade beam on the left of the screen. And then here at the kind of bottom of the screen, just the transformer and work of finishing up kind of a doorway on the south side. You can also see some doorways here and next to the receiving doors, and also some deliveries here at the bottom of the screen of some what looked like blocks perhaps. As we pass through this section, it looks like they're preparing for a slab of some sort outside of the building. We do have some scaffolding to finish up the wall treatment here over the receiving door and the regular door. Through this opening, the slab extends further to the north, so all of this ground slab is completed inside this part of the building. And as we go around these garbage chutes, which are getting ready to have some of them pulled away for recycling, I wanted to kind of look through this large opening, which we see on the left-hand side of the screen, and I'll get the drone down lower and I'll zoom in. And what we're going to see is that that ground slab has extended, at least in the middle part of the building, well to the north, and we can kind of see inside with some of the reflections that it extends quite a long distance to the north on all sides except for this section which has about 2 column widths, which is still dirt. So hopefully by the time I get back from Starbase, we'll see that much of that ground slab is completed. There is more rebar on the ground here, so we know that that work is continuing to fashion those for that ground slab, and more materials in this smaller material staging yard. Of course, with the lighting, you can tell that through the openings that there's still a lot of dirt here on this part of the section of the building. So as I bring the drone up, I wanted to show you the work that's going on the roofing materials. They have this line of workers that are putting down the 2 layers of the insulation. It's kind of glued down to the substrate underneath it, and then they put the white weatherproof membrane on top. This is almost the last section of the roof, and I am very sure that by the time I get back from Starbase, that entire roofing material will be completed. I did notice also for a drain here, they're adding in a concrete pipe segment that's going to connect in most likely to that rectangular clearing we see in the top center of the screen, and then all the way over to one of those old ponds. And much of the soil here is kind of underlaid by a clay layer and then sand and gravel on top of it, plus all this extra dirt that they brought in. So drainage is a issue in this part of the site, especially with the water table so high. So that is why all of that work is underway. We do see a lot of pipe segments in this smaller staging yard on the north end of the building. Work continues on this hallway on the western 1 column width of the building, and then on the other side, more of the earthwork underway to bring in dirt to raise the grade on this side to match up with the higher perimeter grade beam of this side of the building. Now we do see some concrete vaults on the ground as we just passed over. More of them coming up here. This one is significant. You'll notice that there's electrical conduit going into the base of the building through some of those openings that we saw when they made the perimeter grade beam. Here's another example of that. These concrete vaults are positioned with trenching heading off to the west, which will match up to the trenching and conduit that we see in the upper left of the screen, and that's going to bring the bulk of the power from the electrical switch yard and probably the Megapack 2 as well over to serve Cortex-2. And as I fly this direction, you can see what this looks like now with those groupings of 4 concrete vaults, which match what we saw over by the Cortex-2. Of course, the conduit that's going through the trenches, and then you can see the red material on top of the conduit. That's a concrete mix that's added onto the conduit so that it will alert future workers that may be excavating that there is electrical conduit here. But this is a great view back to Cortex-2, showing you how this conduit and the trench boxes connect together to bring the power out of the underground vault here with the 3 trailers over to Cortex-2. The connecting vault with those yellow stringers still has no cabling yet. I think that is going to be coming in the next several weeks once they do more of the superstructure work here on the electrical switchyard expansion. You can see a lot more of the steel and footings are prepared. And then here it looks like a generator is being delivered today, and the crane is positioning to lift it up off of that truck. As I continue to maneuver the drone around, you can see that there are some slabs that are made. Those are to house those V-type circuit breakers, and you can just compare to the existing switchyard, and everything lines up. It'll be a mirror image of what you see on the right-hand side of the screen. So as you look at the footings and all the excavation that is yet to come, it's basically going to duplicate what you see on that existing switchyard. Of course, more of the steel items have been delivered and temporarily staged here on the north end. We're going to have to see a lot more of that over the next weeks and months as they finish up that switchyard. So I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude. This is a great bird's eye view of all of the areas that we did visit today, and also a great way to end up the week and start the weekend. As a reminder, I won't be flying here on Monday or Wednesday of next week because I'll be at Starbase for Flight 11, but otherwise, hopefully I'll get a Corpus Christi video for you as well. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend and take care.